The gathering storm story opens in the Nexus system, a major trade hub where dozens of alien species conduct business. A station, called Trade Point 7, buzzes with activity as merchants from across the galaxy exchange goods and information. Captain Vex of the Reptilian Scalari leads a meeting of the Outer Rim Defense Council. Representatives from 6 different species sit around a circular table, their translators humming softly. The topic is urgent. The Devourers are coming. The Devourers are an ancient enemy that appears every few centuries, consuming entire star systems and leaving nothing behind. They travel in massive bioships that feed on energy itself. Historical records show they have destroyed over 100 civilizations. A young communications officer, Tam, rushes into the meeting with a priority message. It's from the human colony of New Terra, located 3 systems away. The message is simple but direct. Devourers confirmed heading toward Nexus system. Human fleet will assist. Prepare for immediate evacuation. The council members laugh. Humans are the newest species to join the galactic community, having only achieved faster-than-light travel 50 years ago. They're considered primitive by most standards, still using kinetic weapons and nuclear reactors, while other species have mastered energy manipulation and quantum technology. Captain Vex dismisses the human warning with a wave of his clawed hand. The humans mean well, but they don't understand the scope of this threat. One human colony ship with basic weapons cannot help us. The insectoid delegate, Queen Zill, clicks her mandibles in agreement. We have faced the Devourers before. Our energy shields and quantum disruptors are our best defense. Human technology is centuries behind ours. The plant-like Verdani representative, Elder Root, sways thoughtfully. Perhaps we should consider all offers of help. The Devourers grow stronger with each attack. But the Council has already decided. They will follow the traditional strategy. Evacuate the civilian population and rely on their advanced defensive grid. The human message is filed away and forgotten. As the meeting ends, Tam approaches Captain Vex privately. Sir, the human message included technical specifications for something called a kinetic bombardment system. The power readings don't match anything in our databases. Vex barely glances at the data. Humans excel at making primitive weapons seem impressive. Focus on the real preparations, Tam. Meanwhile, in the outer system, long-range sensors detect the approaching Devourer fleet. 12 massive bioships, each the size of a small moon, move toward the Nexus system at incredible speed. Their organic hulls pulse with stolen energy from the systems they've already consumed. The alien defense fleet begins its evacuation procedures. Civilian ships launch from Trade Point 7 in waves, heading for the safety of nearby systems. The military vessels, sleek, energy-based fighters and cruisers, take defensive positions around the station. Captain Vex stands on the bridge of his flagship, a scale of honor, watching the preparations. His species has fought the Devourers 3 times in the past millennium. Each time, they've barely survived by abandoning their positions and letting the creatures consume empty space. All civilian vessels are clear, reports his tactical officer. The defense grid is charging to full power. The grid consists of 12 satellites positioned around the system, each one capable of generating massive energy barriers. It's the most advanced defensive system in the galaxy, created by combining the best technology from all member species. As the Devourer fleet approaches, the aliens prepare for the familiar pattern. Hold the line as long as possible, then retreat. They've never tried to actually fight the Devourers, only delay them. But something is different this time. Long-range sensors detect a single ship approaching from the direction of human space. It's massive, larger than any known human vessel, and it's moving at incredible speed. Sir, Tam calls out, that human ship is broadcasting on all frequencies. They're requesting permission to engage the Devourers. The bridge crew looks at each other in confusion. The human ship is alone, facing 12 Devourer bioships. It seems like Suicide. Captain Vex opens the communication channel. Human vessel. This is Captain Vex of the Outer Rim Defense Council. You are advised to retreat immediately. Your technology is not sufficient to engage the Devourers. The response comes in clear, unaccented galactic standard. Negative, Captain. This is the UE's retribution. We've been tracking these things for 3 months. We know exactly what they are and how to stop them. The transmission ends, leaving the alien fleet in stunned silence. The human ship continues its approach, and for the first time, the aliens begin to wonder if they've underestimated their newest galactic neighbors, that the Devourers are 6 hours away, and everything is about to change. First contact with Death Thee. Devourer fleet emerges from hyperspace like a nightmare made real. The 12 bioships stretch across space, their organic hulls pulsing with veins of stolen energy. Each ship resembles a massive sea creature, with tentacles that writhe through the void and bioluminescent patterns that shift across their surfaces. Captain Vex watches from his bridge as the creatures immediately begin their feeding process. The outer planets of the Nexus system start to dim as the Devourers drain their energy. Plants wither, oceans freeze, and the very light from the system's star grows weaker. Energy barriers at maximum strength, reports his tactical officer. All ships are in defensive formation. The alien defense fleet looks impressive. 60 ships from 6 different species, each one a masterpiece of advanced technology. The Scalari. Vessels shine with metallic scales that can deflect energy beams. The crystalline shard ships focus starlight into devastating laser arrays. The Verdani bioships pulse with living armor that can adapt to any attack. But as the Devourers approach, the aliens realize their mistake. The creatures don't attack the ships directly. They drain the energy from the defensive barriers, the ship's engines, even the life support systems. The advanced technology that makes the alien fleet so powerful also makes them perfect prey. Sir, our energy reserves are dropping, calls out the engineering officer. The creatures are somehow pulling power directly from our quantum cores. The first Devourer reaches the defense grid. A massive bioship extends its tentacles toward the nearest satellite, and within seconds, the satellite goes dark. The defensive barrier flickers and fails. All ships retreat to secondary positions. Captain Vex orders. It's the same strategy they've always used. Fall back, let the Devourers feed, and hope they leave before consuming everything. But then something extraordinary happens. The human ship, the UES Retribution, moves into attack position. A vessel is unlike anything in the alien fleet, angular, armored, and completely lacking in the elegant curves that mark advanced spacecraft. It looks primitive, even crude. Human. Vessel, retreat immediately, Vex transmits. Your energy signatures will attract the Devourers. The human response is calm and confident. Captain, we're not running the same power systems you are. Watch and learn. The Retribution accelerates toward the nearest Devourer, and the alien fleet prepares to witness the destruction of the human. Ship. The bio-creature extends its feeding tentacles, reaching for the human vessel with hungry appendages. The tentacles make contact with the Retribution's hull, and nothing happens. The ship continues forward, completely unaffected by the Devourer's energy drain. Impossible, whispers Queen Zill from her insectoid command ship. How are they not being drained? The answer comes as the Retribution opens fire. Instead of energy, beams or plasma bolts, the ship launches solid projectiles at incredible velocity. The kinetic rounds punch through the Devourer's biohull like bullets through paper. The creature recoils, its tentacles writhing in what can only be described as pain. For the first time in recorded history, a Devourer has been injured in direct combat. They're using kinetic weapons, Elder Root observes from the Verdani command ship. The Devourers can't drain the energy from solid matter, traveling at relativistic speeds. Asterisk, the Retribution continues its attack, firing round after round into the wounded bioship. Each impact causes massive damage, tearing through the creature's organic hull and disrupting its internal systems. But the other 11 Devourers are not idle. They converge on the human ship, their tentacles reaching out to overwhelm the lone vessel. The aliens watch in horror, certain they're about to witness the destruction of their would-be saviors. Instead, the Retribution does something unexpected. The ship's hull begins to open, revealing dozens of launch tubes. From these tubes come hundreds of small fighters, each one no larger than a personal transport. Fighter screen deploying. Comes the human transmission. All pilots, weapons free. Human fighters swarm around the Devourers like angry insects. Each small craft is armed with kinetic weapons, railguns that fire metal slugs at tremendous velocity. The fighters are too small and too fast for the bioships to target effectively. The battle transforms from a feeding frenzy into a genuine fight. The Devourers, for the first time in their existence, face an enemy they cannot simply drain and consume. The human weapons cause real damage, real pain, and the creatures begin to respond with increasing desperation. Asterisk. Sir, Tan reports to Captain Vex. The human fighters are targeting specific points on the bioships. They seem to know exactly where to hit for maximum damage. The alien fleet watches in stunned silence as the tide of battle begins to turn. The humans are not just fighting the Devourers, they're winning. The human way of war, the battle rages for 6 hours, and the alien observers begin to understand that they are witnessing something unprecedented. The humans don't just fight the Devourers, they hunt them with methodical precision. Captain Vex watches from his command bridge as the human fighters execute complex attack patterns. Each small craft carries only basic kinetic weapons, but they coordinate their strikes with deadly efficiency. A target joint clusters where the bioship's tentacles connect to the main body, severing the creature's ability to feed. Sir, Tan reports, I'm detecting communication between the human fighters. They're sharing targeting data in real time. The communication channels buzz with human voices, calm and professional, despite the chaos around them. The aliens listen in amazement as the human pilots coordinate their attacks with military precision. Strike Team Alpha, focus on the creature's neural cluster behind the main feeding cavity. Comes one voice. Beta and Gamma teams, sever the energy distribution tentacles on the port side. The largest Devourer, a bioship nearly twice the size of the others, begins to show signs of real distress. Its bioluminescent patterns flicker erratically, and its movement becomes sluggish. The human fighters have systematically destroyed its ability to process the energy it feeds upon. How do they know so much about Devourer anatomy? Queen Zill asks over the communication channel. Our species have encountered these creatures dozens of times, but we've never understood their biology. The answer comes from the Retribution's command center. A human voice, older and more authoritative than the fighters, addresses the alien fleet. This is Admiral King of the UES Retribution. We've been tracking these creatures for 3 months, ever since they consumed the Kepler colony. The transmission sends shock waves through the alien fleet. The humans have lost an entire colony to the Devourers, but instead of retreating, they've followed the creatures across space to study them. We've analyzed their feeding patterns, their reproduction cycles, and their biological weaknesses. Admiral Kane continues. These things aren't invincible. They've just never faced an enemy that couldn't be drained. The second phase of the battle begins as the Retribution launches a new type of weapon. Massive kinetic projectiles, each one the size of a small building, streak toward the wounded Devourers. The projectiles are made of dense metal and move at a significant fraction of light speed. When the first projectile strikes, the impact is devastating. The kinetic energy transfer creates a shockwave that ripples through the bioship's entire structure. The creature's organic hull ruptures, spilling bioluminescent fluid into the void. Kinetic bombardment, Admiral Kane explains to the stunned. Aliens. We call it rods from God. Simple physics applied with human ingenuity. The dying devourer's distress calls reach its companions, and the remaining 11 creatures begin to retreat. But the humans are not finished. The Retribution launches pursuit fighters, small ships designed for long-range tracking. Sir, one of the human pilots reports, we're detecting spawning pods being released from the retreating vessels. They're trying to seed the system for future harvesting. The spawning pods are microscopic bioorganisms that will hide in the asteroid belt and grow over decades into new devourers. Previous alien encounters with the creatures never detected these pods, which explains why the devourers always return to systems they've previously attacked. The human fighters systematically hunt down and destroy every spawning pod. Their sensors, designed specifically to detect organic matter, find pods that the aliens' energy-based detection systems completely miss. Admiral, Captain Vex transmits, how did you know about the spawning pods? We learned the hard way, comes the grim reply. Kepler colony was attacked twice. The first time, we drove them off and thought we'd won. The second time, they came back stronger. We won't make that mistake again. The battle concludes with the destruction of 3 devourers and the complete retreat of the remaining 9. For the first time in galactic history, a devourer attack has been not just survived, but decisively defeated. As the human fighters return to the Retribution, the alien fleet maintains its defensive positions, unsure of what to do next. The humans have accomplished something that advanced civilizations considered impossible. Admiral Kane. Captain Vex transmits, the Outer Rim Defense Council owes you a debt that cannot be repaid. How can we thank you? The response is immediate and surprising. Don't thank us yet, Captain. We've hurt them, but we haven't stopped them. They'll be back, probably with reinforcements. If you want to survive the next attack, you'll need to learn to fight like humans. The transmission ends, leaving the alien fleet to contemplate a new reality. The galaxy's newest species has just taught its oldest civilizations that sometimes the best technology is the willingness to fight when others choose to flee. Learning to fight back 3 weeks after the battle, Trade Point 7 has become an unlikely military academy. The massive space station, once dedicated to peaceful commerce, now hosts the largest interspecies military cooperation in galactic history. Captain Vex stands in what used to be the main trading floor, now converted into a tactical planning center. Holographic displays show star charts, weapon specifications, and biological analyses of the devourers. Around the room, representatives from dozens of species study human military doctrine with intense focus. Admiral Kane has remained in the system, along with a small fleet of human vessels. The humans have shared their research freely, uploading detailed files about devourer biology, behavior patterns, and weaknesses. For the first time, the galaxy's civilizations have real intelligence about their ancient enemy. The key to understanding devourers, explains Dr. Reed, the Retribution's chief scientist, is recognizing that they're not just predators, they're gardeners. They plant spawning pods in systems they attack, then return decades later to harvest the mature creatures. The assembled aliens listen with growing horror as the human scientist displays a galactic map. Red dots mark systems that have been attacked by devourers over the past 5 centuries. The pattern is clear. The creatures return to the same regions, repeatedly, feeding on civilizations they have rebuilt after previous attacks. Your defensive strategies have been feeding into their reproductive cycle. Dr. Reed continues. By evacuating and letting them consume energy, you've been helping them breed. Elder Root, the Verdani representative, sways thoughtfully. This explains why the attacks have been growing stronger. We've been inadvertently cultivating them. Humans have brought more than just knowledge. They've brought a completely different approach to warfare. While alien civilizations focus on energy shields and quantum weapons, humans have perfected the art of kinetic warfare. Our weapons are simple, explains Commander Torres, the Retribution's tactical officer. Solid projectiles accelerated too. High velocity. The Devourers can't drain kinetic energy the way they drain electrical or quantum energy. The aliens struggle to understand this concept. Their technology has advanced far beyond kinetic weapons, which they consider primitive. The idea of deliberately using inferior technology as a strategic advantage is foreign to them. But why haven't you developed energy weapons? Asks Queen Zill. Your species has achieved faster than light travel. Surely you can create plasma, cannons or laser arrays. Admiral Kane smiles grimly. We can. But we learned early in our space expansion that sometimes the old ways are the best ways. When we first encountered energy-draining parasites in the Proxima system, our energy weapons were useless. The Marines had to fight them with gunpowder rifles. A training begins immediately. Human instructors work with alien engineers to modify existing weapon systems. The elegant energy weapons that define advanced civilization are retrofitted with kinetic components. Plasma cannons are redesigned to fire solid projectiles. Laser arrays are replaced with railgun systems. The process is frustrating for the aliens. Captain Vex watches his beautiful scale of honor being fitted with ugly, angular human weapons. The sleek lines of his ship are broken by the addition of ammunition storage and kinetic launchers. It feels like we're going backward, he confides to Town. Like we're abandoning everything that makes us civilized. But the humans have an answer for this concern. Civilization isn't about the weapons you carry. Admiral Kane explains during a planning session. It's about what you're willing to fight. 4. The Devourers have been counting on your civilized nature, your preference for retreat over violence. That's why they've been winning. The training extends beyond weapons to tactics. Human military doctrine emphasizes aggression, persistence, and the willingness to accept casualties for strategic advantage. These concepts are difficult for species that have spent millennia avoiding conflict. The Devourers are not unstoppable, Commander Torres explains to a group of alien officers. They're just used to fighting prey instead of predators. When something fights back effectively, they retreat. But you have to be willing to hurt them. The breakthrough comes when the Scalari tactical officer, a young reptilian named Kex, successfully modifies a plasma cannon to fire solid projectiles. The weapon is crude compared to human systems, but it works. The first kinetic shot from an eye. Alien weapon punches through a test target with devastating effect. It's not elegant, Kex admits, but it's effective. Word of the successful modification spreads throughout the station. Within days, every species is experimenting with kinetic weapons. The shard crystalline ships prove especially adaptable. They're focusing arrays easily modified to accelerate solid projectiles. But the most important change is psychological. The aliens are learning to think like predators instead of prey. The ancient instinct to flee when faced with the Devourers is being replaced with the human instinct to fight back. As the training continues, long-range sensors detect disturbing news. The Devourers are returning, and they're bringing reinforcements. The real test of the new alliance is about to begin. The final stand 2 months after the first battle, the Devourers return to the Nexus system with overwhelming force. Long-range sensors detect 24 bioships, twice the number from the previous attack. The creatures have learned from their defeat and brought reinforcements. But the galaxy is ready for them. The defense fleet has grown from 60 ships to over 300. Representatives from 12 species have joined the alliance, each bringing vessels equipped with human-designed kinetic weapons. The elegant curves of advanced spacecraft are now bristling with angular railguns and missile launchers. Captain Vex stands on the bridge of the Scale of Honor, now renamed the Kinetic Strike. His beautiful ship has been transformed into a weapon of war, its hull studded with ammunition pods and kinetic launchers. The transformation still unsettles him, but he's learned to appreciate the brutal efficiency of human warfare. All ships report ready, announces Tam, now promoted to tactical coordinator. The defense grid has been modified with kinetic satellites. We're as prepared as we can be. The Devourers approach with obvious caution. Their previous encounter with humans has made them wary, and they move in tighter formation than before. The bioships pulse with stolen energy from the systems they've consumed on their way to the Nexus. Admiral Kane addresses the combined fleet from the Retribution. Remember, these things have been winning for millennia because they've never faced organized resistance. Today, we show them what happens when prey becomes predator. The battle begins differently than the first encounter. Instead of waiting for the Devourers to attack, the Alliance fleet moves to intercept them in the outer system. The humans have taught their alien allies the value of choosing the battlefield. The first exchange is devastating. The Devourers extend their feeding tentacles, expecting to drain the approaching ships. Instead, they encounter a wall of kinetic fire. Hundreds of solid projectiles streak through space, punching through biohull and disrupting the creatures. Energy networks, but the Devourers have adapted too. Several bioships have grown thick armor plating, sacrificing mobility for protection. Others have developed new tentacles that can swat aside smaller projectiles. The creatures are learning. They're tougher than last time, reports Commander Torres from the Retribution. But they're still vulnerable to concentrated fire. The Alliance fleet executes human-taught tactics with increasing confidence. Scalari ships use their natural speed to conduct hit-and-run attacks. Shard vessels focus their kinetic weapons into devastating concentrated volleys. Verdani bioships prove surprisingly effective at close-range combat, their living hulls able to absorb return fire. The battle reaches a turning point when Queen Zill leads a squadron of insectoid fighters in a coordinated attack on the largest Devourer. The creature, nearly the size of a small moon, has been directing the biofleet's movements. If it can be destroyed, the others will lose coordination. All fighters, concentrate on the command organism, Queen Zill transmits. Target the neural clusters just like the humans taught us. The attack is spectacular. Dozens of fighters swarm the massive bioship, their kinetic weapons tearing through its hull. The creature's tentacles lash out desperately, but the small fighters are too fast and too numerous to stop. The command organism's death throes send shockwaves through the Devourer fleet. The remaining bioships begin to retreat, but the Alliance fleet pursues them. The humans have taught their allies that letting the enemy escape only ensures future attacks. No mercy. Admiral Kane transmits to the fleet, "We end this here." The pursuit lasts for hours. Human tracking technology guides the Alliance ships to intercept the retreating Devourers. One by one, the bioships are cornered and destroyed. The creatures that have terrorized the galaxy for millennia are hunted down like the predators they once were. The final Devourer falls to a combined assault from all 12 species. The bioship, surrounded and outgunned, attempts to self-destruct rather than be captured. But even this fails human weapons destroy it before it can complete the process. As the last of the enemy ships breaks apart, the Alliance fleet regroups. The battle is won, but the cost has been significant. 27 ships have been destroyed, and hundreds of crew members have died. It's a price the aliens have never paid before, but one they now understand is necessary. This is Admiral Kane to all ships. Comes the transmission from the Retribution. Congratulations. You've just won the first decisive victory against the Devourers in galactic history. But remember, this is just the beginning. There are more of them out there, and they'll keep coming until we hunt them all down. The response from the alien fleet is immediate and unanimous. They're ready for the hunt. The prey has become the predator, and the galaxy will never be the same. Captain Vex looks out at the debris field that was once an invincible enemy fleet. The warning the humans brought has changed everything. The galaxy's civilizations have learned that sometimes the best defense is a good offense. The age of running from the Devourers is over. The age of hunting them has begun. Asterisk.